Music.
Sorry, not sorry. Don't mind me. I'm living a dream, living a dream. Yeah, came from nothing. Whoever thought that we would be living a dream, living a dream. Yeah, we the best music. Another one. DJ Khaled. Hear ye, only kings stand near me. Silicon Valley money mixed with Henny, that's a Fendi. Half a century almost, slice the green like a lawnmower. Till we all on, never fall off. Hear a boss talk, you don't hear me, that's your loss. Winner in life, coin toss, I'm Coinbase. Basically cryptocurrency, Scarface. Join us, there's gotta be more of us. I'm from the ghetto. What location? 2 seconds from the devil. I live heavenly in Cabo with a Mexican sombrero. Drink heavily, health is wealth. Look at wealth in me, wipe your nose. History, my type of clothes. Miss me with the hate. Help so many people get cake. Whips and cream for the crew. No other weed that think faster. Time I spit this, I started some other business. Came from the pitching, Kane in the kitchen. Dangerous missions, wasting your time if you want my forgiveness. Sorry, not sorry. Don't mind me. I'm living a dream, living a dream. Yeah, came from nothing. Whoever thought that we would be living a dream, living a dream, yeah.
Sorry, that's another B. Haters still ain't recovered from the other B. That's a double B. Now that's a triple B. Can't forget about the other B. Hey. It's the white gloves for me. Hater know not to touch me. I'm with the humbly. Nah, respectfully. I'm a project, baby. Y'all expect from me. Technically. America's disrespect for me. You killed Christ, you created religion unexpectedly. Circular ice on Japanese whiskey on my mezzanine. Overlooking the city of angels. The angel invested in things. Unprecedented run. Everybody's getting bands. We just dance to different drums. I like who I become. Intermittent fasting, but these meals I'm not missing none. Sorry.
Not sorry. Don't mind me. I'm living a dream, living a dream, yeah. Came from nothing. Whoever thought that we would be living a dream, living a dream, yeah.
Happy Friday, everybody. We're about to get started. Let me just check what's going on, see who's all on. I know some other people are still hopping on shortly, but we'll get ready to get started. First of all, happy Friday. Happy Friday. Welcome to our first installment of Venture for Them's Founder Friday series. Super excited to have you guys here today. We're going to have an amazing time, some amazing guest speakers. And so just given that, first, I'd like to introduce our team. Of course, I am Keontae Bush, our founder of Venture for Them. I'd like to kick it off to Clay and then Joel, and they'll hop in and introduce themselves as well.
Hey everyone, happy Friday. I'm so excited everybody could be here. Once again, I'm Clay Williams, the co-founder of Venture for Them, and I'm just so excited that everyone has decided to join us today. This is amazing. My heart is full, and this is just a blessing. Welcome.
Happy Friday, everyone. My name is Jewel, handling administration, social media, whatever Mr. Bush tells me to do. So glad for y'all to be on the call.
Crazy. All right. I love it. I love it. That is our amazing team, guys. First of all, everybody that's here today, pat yourselves on the back real quick. Just pat yourselves on the back because you made history. You are here at the first ever Venture for Them Founder Friday Speaker Series. And so you made history. If you're on here today, you could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. So you made history because you'll be able, a year from now, you'll be able to look back like, man, I was at the first one of those. And now look what it's doing a year later. You know, without a doubt, we know that our team has phenomenal things in store for Venture for Them. And so pat yourselves on the back. Pat yourselves on the back. First and foremost, also, we'd like to thank our sponsors, Thurgood Marshall College Fund, as well as the Hennessy Fellows Program for allowing us to make this happen. So let's show some love for them, of course. But for those who may not know, Venture for Them is essentially a startup accelerator that we launched about 2 months ago. And it's essentially for Black and Latinx early stage tech startups. So we help to provide non-dilutive capital. We help to provide, one-to-one mentorship, workshops such as the one we have today, career coaching, and things of that nature. So we're big on making an impact in the community and just changing some of those statistics that don't always benefit our people, right? So that's a bit more about Venture for Them. You'll definitely see more about us down the line. But also just to talk a little bit about Founder Fridays first. What is Founder Fridays? Some of you guys may be wondering. Essentially, obviously, just thinking about the nature of Friday, right? Is you might have had a long week just like I did. Might have had a very long week, but with Friday comes a sense of triumph. For Friday comes a sense of relief. And that's what we want to do with Founder Fridays. While you got that triumph, while you got that momentum, that we want to cultivate that momentum. While you have that confidence, that we want to cultivate that and pair it with a little bit of knowledge, pair it with a little bit of extra network. And through that, maybe you'll go into the weekend like, that was a good idea. Let me implement this into my business. Or, that's just what I needed, to get the next step in my business plan, or even just any professional goals, whatever you're looking for and whatever you're passionate about. Our goal is to help get you to the next level. So that's Venture for Them, and that's Founder Fridays. So given that, and just given the mission of what we're doing, I want to introduce our cohort. We gotta introduce our inaugural cohort. They're phenomenal, they're fire. Go download their apps, go join their wait list, but we definitely wanna show them some love. So if any of our cohort members were able to make it online today, we'd love for you guys to come off mute. Just introduce yourselves, maybe tell us where you're from, and let us know what your company is doing, because you're all amazing and we wanna brag on you guys and get everybody to support you. So whoever wants to kick it off, let's introduce our inaugural cohort.
I'll go first.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Jillian.
Okay. I was gonna say I'll go first, get it out the way. Hey guys, my name is Jillian. I am the founder of Her Ride. It is a female-friendly rideshare app out of Atlanta, Georgia. We are actually about to start our beta round, or our beta testing of rides, this weekend. So that's what I've been doing, is sending out emails all day. I'm glad to be here. Just excited to learn as much as I can.
Wonderful. And I am Karen Wilson. I am the founder of Child Nexus, an educational mental health marketplace that connects parents whose kids are struggling with learning or mental health challenges with professionals who provide services that can help their kids thrive. And I am thrilled to be part of this inaugural cohort.
All right, I'll come off mute here. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday. My name is Ian Grant II. I'm the co-founder of Waystlay, and we are an on-demand delivery app for beauty supplies, delivering in as little as 20 minutes. Currently in Miami, but we deliver not only here, well, really across all of South Florida, and making our way up to West Palm, but also in Pittsburgh and the DMV area as well. happy to be here.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I think you guys were the only ones able to make it on so far, but we'll definitely be able to share some awesome insight. And feel free to, oh yeah, also I see the chat being active. Feel free to drop the links to Detroit, okay? Feel free to drop the links to just your companies and everything, maybe a direct portal to your app if available, just to get everybody to support and show some love because you guys are phenomenal. So that is our inaugural cohort. Keep an eye on them, amazing things in store for them. Next, we are going to get into our icebreaker. It's Friday, we got our hoodies on, we real lax, real comfortable, but let's get into something that might shake the table a little bit. Might shake the table. Let's see what we got for you guys. Our first icebreaker. Of course, you know the name of the event. I'm a businessman from Jay-Z, right? And that's the goal eventually for them to just stay immersed in the culture, right? Not get too removed from what we are interested in as we think about even branding and how it ties right into this event. Sometimes we feel like we could have to be siloed into one specific thing, like, oh, venture for them only has to talk about tech or angel investing or VC, but we're young HBCU students who launched this thing. So we love hip hop, we love the culture, and so thinking about the name of this event, I'm a businessman. Talk to me. Best Jay-Z album of all time. Drop it in the chat. Let me know how you're feeling. I think this icebreaker is going to determine who's friends and who's foes. Reasonable Doubt, my boy Joe. Yeah, American Gangster. Y'all got some good ones. I haven't seen no blueprints yet. I'm surprised. I think that might actually be my favorite. Ye's production was phenomenal.
Hey, shout out King.
Yeah, American Gangster. Okay.
American Gangster.
Okay. Oh, Watch the Throne. Yeah, they didn't put this one up there, I guess, because it's a collab. But yeah, Blueprint close second. I respect it. That's what I'm talking about. Chili, the Blueprint. Blueprint has too many classics. It's ridiculous. All right. I got some good insight. I think maybe we can move into the next icebreaker. Actually, Malcolm just hopped in. If Malcolm, I don't want to catch you off guard, but as part of our inaugural cohort, I'd love to have you hop in really quick and just tell us about where you're from and what your startup is doing, if you are available, man.
Hey, can you all see me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hey everybody, it's nice to connect with all of you guys. Truly excited to be here. It's an honor. My name is Malcolm Lee. I am the CEO of Gab Global, where we're helping ESL users and eventually the world uncover their language learning gifts using virtual reality and augmented reality. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I went to college at George Mason University and studied neuroscience.
Awesome. Yeah, Malcolm and Gab Global are doing some amazing things. But that is our icebreaker, guys. All right. Magna Carta. Yeah, we can't forget Magna Carta. That was a good one, too. All right, this next icebreaker might be a little spicy. Might shake up the table a bit. Let's see. What this one is. Woo. Nas or Jay-Z?
In terms of lyricism?
Overall, whichever your preference is. If anybody feels strongly about it, feel free to come off mute. Let us know. Let us know why you feel strongly about it. If you really know me, you already know who I'm selecting easily. But this being recorded, so I'm not going to say because I want to work with both of them down the line. I want lunch with both to discuss venture for them. So
you already know I feel strongly about it.
Joe already know. Yeah. All right.
Wow, I'm surprised there's so many Nas fans out there. I love it though.
Yeah. Most definitely.
I just haven't seen a Jay-Z documentary yet. That's why I've only seen stuff with Nas.
Yeah, we do need a Jay documentary. I do agree with that. Yeah, we definitely know Ether was the best. But all right, cool. So it's a pretty good mix.
Oh, folded and
yeah, that's the one right there. That's the comment that wins.
Jay ain't for the people anymore. Now there's actually an amazing tech investor too. I think Jay got some good tech investments possibly. All right, cool. Yeah, this was kind of what it might shake the table a bit, determine who's your friends or your foes. Nas never had. Ooh, he never had.
Hey man, because Hennessy sponsors this, man, I'm gonna stick with our spokesman, Nas.
Hey, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Right.
What's wrong with Nas?
We're gonna stay with Nas. He with the Hennessy spirit.
I'm with it. Oh man, I love it. I love it, guys. All right, cool. Let's get into it. So we're not too far off of schedule, but that was fun. Icebreaker to get everybody lax, socializing a bit. Next, we will introduce our first speaker, phenomenal young man, the young OG of Brandon. I'm gonna pass it off to Clay and let Clay introduce him.
Absolutely. So we have Akeem Amir, Morgan State graduate, got his bachelor's of science in finance. Since Akeem was a child, he enjoyed expressing his imagination through developing projects, art, and literature. During his time as a Morganite, Akeem was charged to rebrand an organization that lost its spunk. After inducting 17 members, Akeem successfully upgraded the organization's identity on Morgan State's campus. This is when Akeem discovered his passion for management. He learned that he could build a career in branding entrepreneurs, athletes, and entertainers. Lastly, he taught himself many skills during the pandemic, such as DJing, marketing, project management, and more. He can be seen traveling to build Mirror LK into a household name for branding through the lens of a Black man. But more so than that, Akeem had done tremendous things on a corporate, on a personal level, and we can all learn from his expertise from working in the branding industry, from music to corporate America. And I think it's a pleasure to have Akeem speak to us today. So before it's all said and done, Akeem Myers.
Oh man, thank you so much, Clay. It's honestly a blessing to be here to speak to you all. You know, I think that song that you played was an embodiment of my life and where it was to come. So it's ironic and it's good because I also have this New York hat on. No, I am from Baltimore though. So like he said, I'm from Baltimore. My name is Akeem Myers, graduate of Morgan State University with my degree in finance. Didn't necessarily know that finance was something that I was interested in when I was a child. I was more so into the creative realm of things, playing football, whatever the case may be. I always considered myself a well-rounded person. So throughout my conversation and speaking to you all, you will see that I have my hands in a few different cookie jars, okay? So I'll tell you a little bit about Mirror Talk. So Mirror Talk is my business. I started it normally as a blog, and it was a way for me to express myself as a young Black man, as a first generational college student, actually, and talking about the importance of understanding yourself and knowing exactly who you are. Now, when we think about branding really starts when we're kids, when our parents say, when you leave this house, make sure that you don't go out there acting like you aren't a part of this family. Respect who you are, you know? So those are things that I was taught at an early age, and I'm sure a lot of you all were as well. So remember, that is a part of your brand, and that's your personal brand of who you are. So Mirror Talk, in a sense, is just a matter of understanding in terms of theology. Mirror Talk is more so an understanding of who you are, looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, okay, moving forward, I need to work on X, Y, and Z in order to become a better version for myself and others. So I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of story because I don't have too much time, but I'm going to tell you all a story about how I got to where I am right now. So initially, I was not a Morganite. Initially, I played football in Boston at the school called Merrimack. While I played football at Boston and Merrimack, I had a hip injury that ruined my career. So I was no longer able to play. So moving forward, I had to look at myself literally and figuratively in the mirror and say, who am I? What makes me happy? What grinds my gears? What makes me want to get up and work every single day, right? So I found my way back to Baltimore and I became a Morganite, okay? And over time, I just naturally graduated. I naturally pursued people that I felt like I could admire and I could learn things from, like Clay, like Keontae. I met Keontae when I was actually a freshman, and he's always been the guy that's on brand. He's always on brand. This is the same guy he's always been. I'll tell you that right now. So basically, during the pandemic, what I did was I taught myself how to do graphic design. So graphic design is an important thing, an important element for what I wanted to do going forward with Mirror Talk. So when I started doing Mirror Talk in terms of the in terms of understanding the entire scope of branding, it allowed me to work with artists. Sorry a little bit, I'm over here, I'm a little nervous, you guys, you know. But 1 second, because I have things written for you. Okay, cool. So basically I was searching for jobs, right? And I wanted to find something that was my niche. And I knew that I needed to stay under the creative realm, right? So I utilized what I learned throughout 2020 to actually make money. Simple as that. First started learning how to create logos. After I created logos, I learned how to create flyers. So I started selling flyers for people around Morgan State University, Howard University, and some people that I met online. Then it turned into me creating websites. And after that, some of the people that I met down at Howard were able to connect with me in the future and gave me an opportunity to create rollout content. Now, this was my first time creating rollout content. Little did I know that rollout content and working in the music industry was something that was a deep passion of mine and something that would fuel the future efforts that I would do with Mirror Talk, okay? So my first project was working with Ruby Rose. I had to create an EPK, which is an electronic press kit. So the electronic press kit it allows the artist to basically go out there and shop for deals if they didn't have a publisher or whatever the case may be. So I did that for a few artists, Meek Mill, Ruby Rose, Salma Slim, and I took those skills that I had and I translated it into Mirror Talk. So then I was blessed to have the opportunity to move to Atlanta, where I now stay, which is my headquarters. Excuse me. And once I got to Atlanta, I began networking. And I was also blessed within the first 2 weeks of being in Atlanta to have the opportunity to do a production. Now, remind you, I had never done a production. I've only done graphic designing and creating content. So this moment in my life personally really showed me what the importance of branding and my parents raising me right, how it brought me to where I am. Because me having a personal brand is what got me into the room. Me having my personal brand is what allowed me to have the confidence to learn these new skills and to do it well and exceptionally. Because once you understand your brand, you can understand how to take knowledge from other people into how to absorb it and take heed to it. So while I was in Atlanta, within the first 2 weeks, I did a project for Lil Baby. I did a project for Kirk Franklin. I did a project for T.I. at GoatCon. And I also did a project for Earn Your Leisure, if you know what Earn Your Leisure is. So these projects were mostly production work. Like I said, I had never done it. But this stuff was these moments and these opportunities, like I said, was focused on my brand. I was focused on my brand and diving deep into who I was as an individual. So again, I say all of this stuff about my personal life because my personal life and your personal life is what I call Mirror Talk. That's why my business name is Mirror Talk Brand Management, because we are focused on understanding exactly who you are as an individual and bringing the best you out of yourself so that you can help others in whatever service it may be. So since I've been down here, I've been working with Shy Glizzy and a few other artists in terms of helping them create content for rollouts. I've also produced and executive produced my first EP, which is like an album, but a short album, about 7 songs within about 2 months of a time frame. So that same work that I've taken from Morgan of learning how to build an organization, the skills that I learned of creating a logo, just a simple logo, and learning production. I learned from all of those different spectrums of how important it is to create a rollout to show the brand identity of what your artist is trying to portray to the world. So I've been working very closely with a few artists and also building myself and networking. And just, I want you all to take away from this that the most important thing that you can do is really check the mirror. No matter how painful it is, there's always happiness on the other side of these trials and tribulations that you go through, okay? I know we all experienced this pandemic together, You know, no matter if you feel disconnected, we really felt, a lot of us found ourselves through the pandemic, and I am one of those people. And I have a few takeaways for you all, to mold yourself into the person that you want to be, and also be prepared to showcase your skills for when the opportunity has come. So when that opportunity comes, you can rise to the occasion and become the cream of the crop. And that is focused on your brand. Your brand is so important. And now I know in the future, you all are going to network with each other or whatever the case may be. But I want you to continue to focus on who you are as an individual. Do not try to become someone else, because it will be shown in the way that you communicate, in the way that your business brand is actually portrayed to the world. So whoever you are, allow that to shed light and just embody through your ideals and through your business. So I know I started rambling on a little bit, but you all can find me at LinkedIn and also Instagram at Akeem Amir, AKEEMAAMIR. And my business page is also on Instagram and also on LinkedIn at MIRRORTLK. So yes, it's Mirror Talk without an A. And if anyone is interested in building that personal brand, anyone is interested in building their business brands, I create websites. Like I said, I do everything from the small stuff of creating your logo all the way to brand management and long-term strategies. I know this is my first time doing the public speaking, so bear with me a little bit. But again, thank you all to Venture for them. This has been a great opportunity. I'm excited to see what this future holds for you all.
Let's show Akeem some love, y'all.
Let's give him some love, man. Let's clap it up for him, man. That was amazing, bro. Truly remarkable.
Man, I tried.
Many gems. He's so humble. Look at him. Many gems, man. Definitely awesome, bro. Definitely awesome. They said, please drop your IG in the chat when you get a chance. Both you, probably your personal one, and Mirror Talk as well. Definitely drop it in there when you get a chance. But yeah, that was awesome. Definitely great gems. Definitely be sure to connect with them if you're interested in brand consultation. But the joy of this event today is not only will you hear from the young OG, the up and coming Akeem Amir, but we also have the OG, triple OG, Adrian Porter, the brand specialist himself. Phenomenal. Adrian has played a pivotal role in where we are today as Venture for them. And so I'm gonna tell y'all a little bit about the OG himself. Adrian is a speaker, age inclusion advocate, brand builder, and the founder of Mid-Career Mastery. He is also the creator of the fabulous Over 40 Spotlight series on LinkedIn and the podcast creator and host of Gen X Amplified. A 20+ year marketing veteran, Adrian has worked for multiple leading and preeminent brands, including HBO, Cartoon Network, City, and as the CMO of a media and tech nonprofit. Adrian holds an MBA from Vanderbilt University and a Bachelor's of Business Administration from the University of Memphis, and currently lives in the greater Atlanta area with his wife and their 2 children. And just a little more to tell you personally about Adrian. Before we had launched Venture for them, I talked to him and I said, you're the brand specialist, you're the brand OG. Tell me how you feel about the acronym and the name. Tell me how you feel about the logo. And of course, as we think about brand, it's far more than just, logo and name, but a lot of it is the mission, the vision. What are people saying about you when you're not in the room, right? So just thinking about that. And of course, we can see the team got the logo on the hoodie. But just to say that, man, Adrian has been pivotal in the success and just the start of Venture for them. So with further ado, I introduce to you guys the brand specialist OG himself, Adrian Porter. Let's see if we can get the spotlight on him, please.
All right. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, party people. I am so honored. Thank you, Keontae. Akeem, that was fabulous, man. You did a phenomenal job. You mentioned that was your first speaking event. Don't even worry about all that. I had to start somewhere. You did much better than I did when I first started speaking. So I see great things ahead of you and great for sharing your story. Fellow ATL person here as well. As Keontae mentioned, I was born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, actually. Go Penny Hardaway, go John Morant, who's my favorite player right now, who's killing the game. But anyway, I am honored. I am very, very honored. Again, it's always great to give back to the younger generation because you guys are really creating our future. And eventually you will get to where I am with the silver in your hair and in your 40s. But the advantage that you have is that you're able to kind of get the wisdom and help future-proof your career and things that I necessarily didn't have. So I'm honored to be here. And I actually have some slides I want to share with you because it's all about building a brand. So I'm going to share my screen and let me know if it will be all good. Probably see my babies there. Can you see the slides?
Yes, we can.
All right,
Yes,
so
we can.
all right, let me do, hold on. Let me do the slideshow. All right, can you see that? Can you see the title?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, great. All right, so how to build a powerful brand as a young entrepreneur. All right, so we're gonna get this rolling. So my goal today is to help you guys. Number one, think differently about what exactly is a brand, okay? Because we talked about that. Number two, how to define your unique story and brand DNA, which I want you guys to really take away from that. And then third, I want you guys to be able to apply an effective framework to develop a powerful brand for not only you as a founder, but also for your business. Because as a founder, your business, especially for a startup venture, it's all about the founder story. And as Akeem mentioned earlier, your personal brand and your business brand are very intertwined. All right, so first, a little test here. I want you guys to think about, and just, you can quickly put in the chat as well. When you think about brand, what exactly is a brand? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? I'm very curious to see some of those. All right, what do we have? We have identity, reputation, love it. Representation of the owner, gut feeling about a product, how you show up in the world, identity. I love that. All right, so how people remember you. All of you are correct, but that's not all of what it is. All right, so your brand is so much more than your logo, which was mentioned earlier, but it's part of it. Your brand is slide here. This is me actually speaking in Detroit City. Your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Famously quoted by Jeff Bezos, the former CEO, but the current founder of Amazon. But I'll take a step further. Even thinking about you as a founder, as a personal brand. This is a great quote that I love from Kamala Harris, which is, all major decisions about your career will be made when you are not in the room. So not just about what people think about you, but also your sponsors, those stakeholders, the people who will be making those decisions about you. All of those major decisions will be made about you when you're not in the room. And that is an essence of your brand. Famously quoted by Kamala Harris, who's the managing director at Morgan Stanley. All right, I like to take it a step further and also say that your brand is your reputation and the relationship you establish in the hearts and minds of others. And so many of you in the chat got that pretty much on right, hit it on the head. So it's what people think about you, is your reputation and the relationship that you establish in the hearts and minds of others. So as we think about branding, let's also talk about, well, how do I begin to really build a strong, powerful brand? Well, first we need to decipher and define the essence of your brand DNA. What are those elements? What are those things that really separate you from the others and also for your business? And to take this a step further, I like to talk about one of the GOAT. Some of you may say LeBron's the GOAT, and that's all good. You know, I'm old school. It's all about MJ for me. But as we think about MJ and his brand, and this is a great video. I like that. He's the king. He's the GOAT. Yeah, definitely. Akeem, yes. Bill Russell. That's right. 11 rings. Can't hate. But we think about the brand of Michael Jordan. It has transcended countries, ethnicities, decades, right? But here's a video clip that I love when he was giving an interview on Cigar Aficionado, and he talks about the DNA and branding.
So if I had to pick of all of the things that I'm involved in, the most important is the Jordan brand because it is my DNA. It is who I am. The Hornets is a product of personnel that I assemble. And if it doesn't have that, we may not get the same results. So it's a work in progress with the Hornets. With the Jordan brand, it is successful because I can impact it. Or that, you know, how often do you see the symbol of the brand, an icon that can communicate and say what, you know, what I think or an impact
So that was Jordan. So that was Jordan talking about his relationship as an owner of the Charlotte Hornets, obviously, but he was really emphasizing the importance of what's close to him and he has the most impact is the brand of the Jordan brand. Not only the Jordan brand with his, which is a tangent of Nike, but also the Michael Jordan brand, because he can impact it. And he also referenced a significant part of branding, which is the icon, the logo, the symbol. And he's mentioned, how often do you see something tangible that represents the essence of a brand? And so as he talked about how important it is to look at your brand DNA, what I want to do is take you guys in this cohort about what I consider to be the 5 Ps, I call it Porter's 5 Ps of brand DNA, or the 5 elements of what truly makes up your brand, whether it's your personal brand or the brand of your company. And if you can take a step back and define these elements, put in the work, put in the exercise, when you go back, you will have a more holistic view and opportunity to create meaningful impact with a strong brand. So the first element of your brand DNA that you should try to define is, number 1, your purpose. All right. Brand purpose. This is essentially your destination. This is your higher order benefit. It is why you exist. It's what wake you up in the morning. It's what's getting you here at 5 o'clock Eastern time in this wonderful Founder Friday. It's what's motivating you, right? And as we think about purpose, we also need to talk about, which is essentially your why. And how many of you have heard of Simon Sinek? And if you haven't read Start With Why, I encourage you to buy this book or watch his TED Talk where he talks about the power of why. And if you see in the middle of the slide, there's the book to the left, but he created what he called the golden circle. And he mentions in this TED Talk and in this book that the companies and the leaders that tend to be more successful, they create the biggest impact, when they think about what they do and they talk about their brand or their business or who they are as a leader, they don't start with their what, which what they do. They don't start with how they do it. They always start with why they do what they do. And that is essentially your purpose. And so the first element of understanding your brand DNA is to, again, you should know what you do, what product or service you sell, right? You should understand how you do it, but you need to first, before you think about the logo, before you think about what you do, before you think about anything else, why do you do what you do? What is your purpose? How do you define that? And tangibly, that purpose can be manifested in like your mission statement. It can be manifested in other ways. And for example, here are some example purpose statements from many brands that we do know and love, right? There's Apple, to challenge the status quo and to think differently, right? Coca-Cola, to refresh the world and inspire moments of optimism. You have Google over there, right? To organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. There's Facebook, Disney, Tesla. But as you notice, the commonality between among all of these purpose statements is that they rarely mention the product or the service they're selling. It transcends that. So this purpose drives them. And then, oh, Apple's purpose is to challenge the status quo and to think differently. Oh, by the way, they happen to sell iPads and MacBooks, right? And iPhones. Coca-Cola, they want to refresh the world and inspire moments of happiness. By the way, they happen to sell Coke Zero. It's not about the what, it is about the why. So just keep that in mind. So first, as you, again, continue to do what you do and building the great services and products that you guys are building that I heard at the beginning of this, at this presentation. And as you think about even your own personal brands, try to define what is your why? Why do you do what you do? What is your purpose? All right. The next element is brand positioning, right? Your brand positioning. This is the place and the space that you want to own in the hearts and minds of others. It is that lane. It's what separates you from the rest. So brand positioning. Now there's 3 questions I always encourage everyone when they're trying to figure out what is their positioning, how they want to be positioned in the marketplace, is that they answer these 3 following questions to help them get there. Number 1, what category or industry are you in, right? You have to start macro. So first, think about your position. What category am I in? Am I in ed tech, fintech? Am I a direct-to-consumer, B2C? If you think about your personal brand, what industry am I in as a professional, right? Start there, right? Which is macro. It could involve a lot of people. Then you get narrow. Number 2, who is my best target audience? Answer that question. So you're going to start peeling off and separating yourself from the rest, right? Category. Then answer, who is my best target audience? Not who's everyone that I can reach, right? What is your TAM? What's your target addressable market, right? Then you get last but not least. All right, once I define those first two questions, I can answer those. Then how is my brand different from the competition? So first you start big. What category am I in? Who is my best target audience? Then what's going to separate me from the rest? That's where you get into the space that you can own and love, because there are a lot of players out there in many industries. For example, think about, all right, superheroes. You have the Avengers and you have Justice League. You have Team Marvel, Team DC, both superheroes with many superpowers, right? What's the positioning of Justice League versus the Avengers? And you can probably take a step back and figure it out. How are they different from each other? They both play in the same space. They both target similar audiences, but there's a certain level of difference in positioning, right? Marvel versus Avengers. So think about the brands that you know and love. Think about your own space. What is your brand positioning? What is that part of your DNA that you can define and that you can own relative to anyone else? All right. So we have brand purpose, brand positioning. Then we have brand promise. Okay. Your brand promise. This is your covenant that you are promising in the relationship and the covenant to your target audience. And it's all about value. Okay. So if you think about how we're going with this, you have your purpose, your why, your higher order benefit, what gets you up, why you do what you do. Then you get into how you want to be positioned as a brand, whether it's a personal brand as a founder and a business. Then based on that positioning, what are you promising to that target audience every time someone, your customer, people in your community interact with you, buy from you, buy one of your products or services, get on your mailing list, engage with you, basically engage. Every time someone engages with you that's in your target, what are you promising them? What is that value you're promising? And it's always contingent upon your positioning. So I'll give you a tangible example, right? Everyone's familiar with Walmart, right? So Walmart's brand positioning is that they're the leading mass retailer in that space. You have many retailers, mass retailers, whether it's Walmart, whether it's Best Buy, what have you, but they are the largest mass retailer. That's their positioning. And they have a very unique target audience, right? Probably the customers who don't want to spend as much money, that can go to a Target, for example. But okay, that's their positioning. What is their promise? Every time you walk into a Walmart store, we know what they're promising you, that you're going to save money and you're going to live better. Pretty simple. And that brand promise is manifested in their slogan. So again, once you define that promise, you can literally make it more tangible in your marketing copy, in your slogan, because you want people, you want to remind them all the time. Remember, it's that covenant that whenever they engage with you, whenever they engage with VFT, right? They know they're going to expect relationship building. They're going to expect not only just funding, but content, education, community building. When they engage with many of your products and services, what are you promising them every time your customer engages with you? And as a founder and as a personal brand, whenever someone sees any of your content, when they speak with you, when they engage with you, they know they're going to walk away with some level of value that they're always going to expect. All right. So that is your brand promise. It's that covenant. It's that expectant guarantee of value that you're giving people every time they interact with you. All right. Fourth, brand personality. Okay. Brand purpose, brand positioning, brand promise. That fourth element of your brand DNA is your brand personality. Think about personality, right? It's now we're getting into the tangible aspects, okay? So remember at the beginning, we talked about your brand is much more than your logo, it's more than your colors. Those are part of it, but you need to define those intangible higher order things first. Then we get into some of the more quirky personality things, your brand personality. This is essentially, if you could humanize your company, if you can give it characteristics or personal traits, what would it do? What would it be? How would you define that brand? If you could humanize your brand as a company brand. And for personal brands, defining your brand personality is even easier, right? Because you are a person. So think about your own personality. So for example, here is Bozeman St. John, who is a phenomenal, she killing the game. Used to work at Apple, Uber. Now she's killing it as the chief marketing officer for Netflix. She has a very bold personality, and she has been on record, and I quote here, boom, I'm bold in personality, I'm hella tall, and I'm hella black. She has said this. This is a quote, but she has no shame in her game, and she walks the walk, but she's killing it. She is, I mean, very well liked. She's coveted. She's a killer marketer, but you know her brand personality when you engage with her. It exudes in everything that she does, but she's still on point. She gets the job done. Again, think about your personality of your products and your services as a founder. If you could humanize them, what type of personality traits would those have? Would it be quirky? Would it be serious? Would it be fun? Would it be exuberant? And a lot of times as startup founders, our companies and products and services tend to take on the personality of the founder as well. So that exercise can make it a little easier. So again, brand personality. So you start with brand purpose, right? Your why. Then you get into your brand positioning. What is that space that you want to own in the hearts and minds of other people that no one else can have? Then you get into your brand promise, which is the covenant, the expected guarantee of value. Every time someone engages with you as a founder, engages with your product and service as a customer. Then we get into brand personality. All right. So last but not least, what do we haven't talked about? Your brand presence. Now we get into the visual, the tangible, the outward expression of your brand. When your brand is manifested in the marketplace, what is the presence? So for personal brands, when you see something, what is that tangible reminder and identifier that associates visually, audibly, sometimes sense of smell, that when you see it, touch it, feel it, hear it, you immediately recognize it triggers that brand, that recall. That is your brand presence. And so obviously a huge part of brand presence are logos, right? Remember, your brand is not just your logo, but your logo is just an element of a more holistic tapestry of your DNA. So here are many famous logos that you're familiar with. This is part of a brand presence because whenever you see them, they're present in that state of being. But again, what's great about defining your brand DNA is that everything builds on each other. Because if you think about, if you know what your brand purpose is, and you understand how you want to be positioned, and you understand what is the promise you're making, and even the personality, all those previous elements should be manifested in the logo, right? If you are a quirky, fun brand, and that's your personality, and your promise is to have this kind of fun, exciting experience, when it comes time to design your logo, you may want to stay away from something that's stark and dark and gloomy, right? And so too often people start with logo first, and many of us have to do that, right? Based on time. I've done it before. But if you can make sure that at least your logo is congruent with your personality and the promise that you're making, you'll have a better experience. But if they're not congruent and they're like not, you have one here and one there, it's not gonna give you that great experience. So think about, your logo is important. Your brand presence is important. A logo is important, but think about the logo and the presence of your visual identity and make sure that it's congruent with your personality. Like when I see this, based on what I know, based on how Keontae explained it to me when he was coming up with the idea, based on the experience I'm engaging with right now, this is congruent and aligned with the personality, with the vision, with the purpose. It's bold, it's exciting. I love the visual imagery. You got the lightning bolt. It's like, yeah. Now, if he came with something that was like bland, you know, like no cap, it would be totally just, I would feel this tension, right? You want to release the tension. So that's why looking at all of these elements collectively, not just in silos, to make sure that when you see the brand presence, you see the logo, does it align with my purpose? Is my personality being exuberated, right? Making sure that your brand presence. So even thinking about personal branding as a founder, presence not only just deals with logos and colors, it's also how you're present on your platforms. LinkedIn, which is a great platform for establishing and amplifying your presence as a person, as a personal brand. This is just because it's my LinkedIn. This is just as an example, but as you can see, all of us primarily, I'm sure, have LinkedIn profiles. And if you don't, if you're on this call, I encourage you before you hang up, get a LinkedIn profile, but make sure that you think about your presence of your brand. Are you communicating those tangible elements in your copy, in your summary, in your title, in the content that you're producing. Make sure that when people see it, touch it, feel it, and it's shared, that it's also going to be aligned with the promise that you're making to everybody, with your personality, with your purpose. That's why brand presence is so important. So once again, just looking back at the brand DNA elements, purpose, start there. Like, and again, I like to say that these are not sequential, but they actually are, because I do encourage, if you start to define these elements, you should really start with purpose, your why. Why do you exist? What wakes you up in the morning? Why do you do what you do? Why should people believe in you? Why should people believe in you as a founder, you as an entrepreneur, you as a person? Why should people believe in your brand? How can it solve my problem, right? That's your purpose. Then in the plethora of other businesses and personal brands, how am I going to be positioned differently? Then what is the covenant and the guarantee of value you're promising everyone every time they engage with you? That's your brand promise. Then think about, well, what type of personality do I want to have? You know, what type of emotional feelings do I want to elicit from people when they engage with you? That's really what branding is all about. And then last but not least, how can I visually trigger that recall and recognition with people every time they feel my brand presence? So that is brand DNA. And so just to think about an exercise I want to encourage you to do as you move forward. Number one, work on defining those elements of your own personal brand DNA, your brand purpose, your positioning, your promise, your personality, and your presence. And then number two, what would be the brand DNA of your business brand? And you would see a lot of times the copy points may be very similar and they may be different, but work on your personal brand and then also the business brand of your DNA, your DNA of your business brand. And then last but not least, to help you with this exercise is what I call the 3-word brand assessment exercise, is that reach out to people in your trusted circle in your community and get what I call 360 feedback. And it's really easy exercise. Ask people, what are 3 words that best describe and define you as a brand, as a person, and even as a founder? Or if you want to do it even also for your business, if your business has already been, out there in the marketplace and gotten some traction. But I would encourage you to start first with you as a founder, because that will help shape everything else with respect to your business. Simple. Get people that you trust, that you know will respond, and be candid with you. Just give me 3 words. What are 3 words? And then when you get that list back from multiple sources, start to see if there are any commonalities, right? If there are any trends, what pops out? What are some things that actually you didn't know that you were surprised? And you would start to get a sense of what the brand has already been established out there. And if it's aligned and congruent with the goal that you want for your brand, then you're on track. If it's not aligned, then maybe that's a wake-up call. And maybe you say, hey, I didn't realize that this is the brand and the reputation that I've already established. Let me work on that. Or better yet, wow, this is great. Let me double down on this. So again, this is all about looking at branding holistically beyond just colors and logo, which are part of it, but being strategic. And what you do, when you do that, you would no longer just have customers. You won't just have clients. You would have fans. And your fans are what's going to really set you apart. It's going to really take you to the next level, because those individuals who are the fans of your brand, your personal brand and your business brand, those are the ones that's going to really amplify your story and who you are, why you matter, get you more sales, get you to that next round, get to you that Series A, Series B, exit, IPO, billionaire. And then we can come back here years later and give a toast and listen to some Jay-Z Blueprint, or, my first song from the Black Album, which is one of my favorite albums. So thank you so much. I'm really honored. Now let's go out. Let's build some powerful personal brands and business brands.
I love it. Let's give Adrian some love. I told y'all he was the OG of branding. I don't know if y'all believe me at first, but now you know. If you don't know, now you know. That was phenomenal. Thank you so much, Adrian. I hope you guys have taken some amazing notes today. You got some insight from the young OG, the OG. And I hope that, you were able to just take in that knowledge, build that network, and just take in some next big steps into whatever you're passionate about, whether it's your startup, whether it's a business idea you have, whatever it is. I hope that you're able to use that. And that's what Founder Fridays is about, just channeling that momentum that we built during the week and just going forward, going forward and taking those next big steps on whatever you're passionate about. But this was awesome. So many gyms, gym after gym after gym. So I loved it. I loved it, and I truly appreciate you guys. It is 5:55. Let's open up for a quick 5-minute Q&A session. If we do run out of time, I'm sure these gentlemen, feel free to connect with them on LinkedIn or IG, and maybe when they get a chance, they can get back to you. But let's open up for some quick questions.
Hey,
Hi,
Keontae,
I'm Desiree Jones. I don't know if we're able to speak, but hi, I'm Desiree. I go by Des. I just had a quick question. Thank you. Hey, Keontae. Hey, he asked me to come, so I'm like, yo, what's up? HBC, VC, we're in here. Recent grad, Hampton University. Desiree Jones is my name, and I just wanted to know, Adrian, which is more important, building a business or building a brand? Because lately I've noticed a lot of people are putting heavy work into social media and building a brand. But we all know business is not just about social media. It's actually about creating an LLC, making the S corp, getting an accountant, getting taxes. All that is really important. So what do you think would you suggest be the more important, building and establishing a brand or building and establishing a business?
Wow, that's a great question. And so I may give you the answer you may not like or expect, but I don't look at them either or. You can do them concurrently, but it depends on what you mean by that. So you got to take care of the details, like getting your LLC. You can do that, and that's just some of the execution. Because obviously, if you really want to build a business and do it effectively, you take care of that. Get your license if you have to do that. But building a brand is always priority, and there's different ways you can do that. Again, if it's at least just starting understanding what is your purpose, why do you do what you do, then when it's time to fill out the required paperwork of some of these elements or go out and meet individuals, you can communicate that story better because you've already started the work of understanding what is your brand, what are you promising, what is your positioning. And so you can do both at the same time, but I would say take care of the tangible elements that's going to at least get you in the door. But also you cannot shy away from understanding, again, what type of reputation that you want to establish when you're not around, and that is your brand. So it's really a both answer, to be honest with you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
My question was in the chat, and I was just trying to just get some advice on like rebranding. I've been seeing a lot of back and forth, like on social media, like maybe people will like some ladies may have started makeup and then they became a mom and now they want to, brand out into, that audience. Like, should they continue to stay in whatever field that they started? And I guess how many rebrands or relaunches until it's like, okay, you're kind of doing too much.
That's fine. I can jump in, or Kim, you want to jump in?
I just had something quick to say in terms of that. I've also seen the same type of things happening on social media where people would do exactly what you're speaking of. But I believe that the reason that is happening is simply because they really don't have branding. They don't have any structure in terms of how their strategy is going to move forward for the short term and the long term. So in my opinion, I believe those people and those businesses do not have any objectives that are tangible enough, and they don't have them really planned out, honestly. If they planned them out in the beginning stages of their business, they would always, even if something in the PR realm messed it up a little bit or shook it, it would still be on track. Like we've seen people like, I guess, what would be a good example? I don't have one off the top of my head, but we know a lot of like celebrities that have their personal brands, and then they'll say something wacky, but then they always find a way to stay on track. They don't go and rebrand and become a completely different celebrity or artist or whatever the case may be. They just get back on track and find a way to make it make sense.
Yeah, I was just going to double down. That's great, Akeem. And my thought immediately would be, it depending upon like the duration and the time of how often people are rebranding, because you're going to always pivot. I mean, we see rebrands all the time. I mean, Facebook, Meta, it took a long time, but they did it based on the life cycle of their company. Now, if you're talking about early on, people just launched and then a month later they change. A lot of times you're responding to market. You have to really listen to your customers. And if you go out with something that's small or something that you're just trying to get out in the marketplace, and it's not getting traction, but you're seeing signs of going elsewhere for a plan B, maybe you should listen. But I think you got to, as Akeem mentioned, build the brand first, have a strategy, because that will allow you to feel more comfortable with where you are. But if it's like an MVP and you see that it's not getting any traction after established, milestone roadmap, like have your roadmap together, have milestones, 3 months, 6 months, we expect to see this type of traction. And if you're getting response, tangible and intangible, of why it's not gaining traction and it's making sense, then you have every reason to pivot. But it depends on how often and how much that, you are pivoting.
Thank you, gentlemen. It is 6 o'clock. We do want to be respectful of your time. Do you guys have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions? If not, if you got to go, we completely understand. What's your thoughts? You got a quick second for 1 more, maybe?
Also, I was going to ask, like, what's the best way to get for people to get in contact with you both? If they can't ask the question now, maybe they can ask you in an email or LinkedIn, whatever one you think is best. What do you guys prefer?
Yeah, I'm easy peasy on LinkedIn. I'm Adrian Porter, Adrion Porter. I'm adrianporter.com. I'm pretty easy peasy, man. Just reach out. I'm open, send a direct message, and I'll definitely try to respond. No doubt.
Yeah, same here. I'm easy peasy as well.
Yeah, we're both the A's.
Right. You can find me at Akeem Amir. You can find me at Akeem Amir on Instagram. You can also find me at Akeem Amir on LinkedIn. You can find me at Mirror Talk. Remember, Mirror Talk, MIRRORTLK. No A in the middle of the word. So you can find me on both platforms.
And I'm typing in my email for if you try to connect on LinkedIn, you'll have my email address. I just put it in the chat as well. It's first name at adrianporter.com or adrianporter.com for those of you.
Awesome. Thank you, gentlemen. It's been a phenomenal kickoff to our Founder Friday session. This will be every Friday, first Friday of every month. I'm sorry, first Friday of every month, not every Friday. And actually, I will be dropping the link in our chat to the next one. So if you can put that URL in your search, go ahead and do that now so you can get locked in for the next one. Super excited for it. The next event will be called Secure the Bag. So now I know about my brand. Now I know about how I'm building my brand and my vision and my mission. How do I get money for this concept? Do I go through VC? How long do I bootstrap it? Do I go through an angel investor? So super excited, great kickoff. Love you guys, love everybody on. Anybody I was haggling to come on, I appreciate y'all showing up. This is awesome, great kickoff. Love you guys, have a great weekend. Have a great Friday.
Love it, so proud of you, man. Love
Thank
the
you.
team, congrats.
Likewise.
Have a good one, guys.
Hey, man, thank you guys for showing up. We really do appreciate it. Thank you, everyone.
All right, take care, honored, love it.
Thank you.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks for the invite, Keontae. Great stuff. I love it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you showing up, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Pleasure. And hello, Malcolm.
All right, that went good, bro. I'm gonna call you. Let's hop off of here.
Yeah, I was about to say, you still recording.
Let me start recording too.